Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Evening Devotion. I am actually filming this at the beginning of the afternoon or just after 12, or around 1 o'clock, because I'm not 100% sure when I'm going to be home tonight or when I'm going to get a chance to record. Lots going on, lots of appointments trying to be kept up with. That's what I'm at now, is escorting people and driving them to their appointments. So I figured now would be a great time for me to go ahead and film this and have it ready for you guys, so that it's not late. And I'm realizing more and more I need to take those opportunities every chance I get them, because it just seems like there's just never an end to dealing with other people and helping them with their issues or getting them where they need to go. It's just like a non-stop flood. So we're filming this early, but either way, we're getting where we need to be. And so we're going to read out of Proverbs 18:12 in this video. Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty. And you guys know about the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs is hard to get context, because it seems like it kind of changes subjects. Sometimes per verse, it changes subjects. But we'll try to do the best we can to try to get some kind of context out of this. The whole verse says, before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before honor is humility. Let's go up here. We're going to go up 5. We're going to see where it takes us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start in verse 7. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. So the things that he says and the things that he proclaims are snares, are their own condemnation. They speak their own condemnation. The words of a talebearer are like tasty trifles, and they go down into the inmost body. He who is slothful in his work is a brother to him who is a great destroyer. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his own esteem. Before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before honor is humility. This particular one right here, verse 13, is actually a really good one. He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him. And I've always been able to liken that to when somebody clicks on your video and just by the title makes a comment, or they listen to 1 or 2 minutes and then comment, not actually watching the video to find out exactly what you were talking about. Verse 14, the spirit of a man will sustain him in sickness, but who can bear a broken spirit? That verse has always kind of stuck with me ever since the first time I read it. Way over 20 years, 25 years. A broken spirit, who can bear? And what would that look like? I think some of us can relate to that quite easily, of having a broken spirit. And it's hard to bear it. It's a heavy weight. The Lord knows those that are broken in spirit, and he sticks close to them. Verse 15, the heart of the prudent acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. The first one to plead his cause seems right until his neighbor comes and examines him. So, there's a good one right there, I think. No, maybe not. All right. So you can see how it's hard to get like direct context, but you get the gist of what was being talked about there. It is an old and common saying that coming events cast their shadows before them. What do we talk about with the tribulation? We are in its shadow right now because of the things that are happening. The events are showing us those things. The wise man teaches us that a haughty heart is the prophetic prelude of evil. Pride is as safely the sign of destruction as the change of mercury in the weather glass is the sign of rain, and far more infallibly so than that. You can tell the weather, or you can more accurately tell a person who's about to enter a fall than you can the weather by measurements, because that proud heart really identifies people and what's coming for them. When men have ridden the high horse, destruction has always overtaken them. Let David's aching heart show that there is an eclipse of a man's glory when he dotes upon his own greatness. And that is out of 2 Samuel 24:10. See Nebuchadnezzar, the mighty builder of Babylon, creeping on the earth, devouring grass like oxen, until his nails had grown like birds' claws, and his hair like eagle's feathers. Daniel 4:33. Pride made the boaster a beast, as once before it made an angel a devil. Satan's sin was pride. He was going to be like the Most High. He was going to be on the same level as God, and he could not. God hates high looks and never fails to bring them down. All the arrows of God are aimed at proud hearts. O Christian, is thine heart haughty this evening? Do we think more highly of ourselves than we should? Because that's pride. That's arrogance. There's a great deal of arrogance out there. A lot of people presume to speak on behalf of God in a prophetic way and don't realize that what they're telling is lies. And that people out there, somebody is already calling a quote-unquote prophetic statement for Trump to win the election. And are they going to be wrong again? Because they were last time. For pride can get into the Christian's heart as well as into the sinner's. It can delude him into dreaming that he is rich and increased in goods and has need of nothing. That's from the letters of the churches. Art thou glorying in thy graces or thy talents? Art thou proud of thyself, that thou hast had holy frames and sweet experiences? Mark thee, reader, there is a destruction coming to thee also. Thy flaunting poppies of self-conceit will be pulled up by the roots. Thy mushroom graces will wither in the burning heat, and thy self-sufficiency shall become as straw for the dunghill. What have you guys heard me say about my own issues and my own self, my own pride? I'm a really good mechanic. Is that because of me? I rebuilt my first engine when I was 12. 71 Ford F100. Had a 4-speed granny low, 351 Cleveland. Me and my dad rebuilt it by hand. He even kept me home on a Monday, and we were out there in the cold working on it, trying to get it running. Never even took the motor out. We did it while the motor was in the vehicle. Is that because of me? No, absolutely not. Like the Bible says, and I believe it's in Proverbs. The Bible says that the Lord teaches our hands for war. He teaches your hands to do anything. If you know how to cook, it's because the Lord gave you the skills. If you know how to work on cars, it's because the Lord taught your hands to do it. I know people that have done repair work on cars and still can't learn a lick about anything, and they forget as soon as you show them. I've known several people like that. They just can't get it. They just can't pick it up. What we call it today is that person doesn't have an aptitude for that. Yeah? It's because the Lord didn't teach them that. The Lord taught my hands to do those things. The Lord has taught me the skills of the things I've been able to use in this life to benefit others, to benefit myself, to fix things, to work on things. I've done interior design. I've done painting. I've done drywall. I've done roofing. I've done plumbing. I've done electrical, framing, carpet, tile, floors, polishing, stripping, refinishing. I mean, my resume is just pages and pages long of all the things. I didn't do any of that. That's not because of me. I can't take any credit for that. It is all because of the Lord. It is all because of what He taught me to do, that He granted me those abilities to be able to do that. I can't take credit for that. I used to, and my pride preceded my fall. And you know what happened when I fell? The only place I had was to look up, and I looked up. I looked up unto the Lord. And then He brought me up. And now I desire to be in the humble situation. This lady's about to run right into my truck. It staggers me at the lack of driving skills that people have nowadays. We were almost in 4 accidents on the way here. I can't, my ability to drive. I mean, I feel like I probably drive better than most people do. Because I've had training in driving, a lot of different types of vehicles. I had professional training here in this life, and I had training in the military. And so, driving is a big thing. One of the big things that I do, and I do it pretty good, especially hauling trailers and that. I do things with full loads that other people struggle to do. I mean, And that's not me boasting. The Lord taught me how to do all that. He gave me a natural aptitude for that, and it's amazing. And I'm glad He did, because it saved so much money for us over the years, being able to do that stuff ourselves. It saved other people a lot of money too. So I can't sit here and brag and boast on the things that I can do. I can boast in them, but I have to boast that the Lord gave me the ability to do them. When I give thanks for my meals, I give thanks for Lord, thank you for providing the food we've been able to prepare for the meal. And thank you for the skills to know how to cook it and prepare it and make it so it's something we can enjoy. I don't just give thanks for the food. I give thanks for the person who cooked it, that they were willing to take their time and energy to make a meal, that we have the skills to be able to do it. When I fix a vehicle, Lord, thank you for giving me the ability to fix this vehicle, to know how to work on cars, to understand the symphony of mechanics. When I drive and we get home, Lord, thank you for bringing us home safely. Thank you for giving me the ability to pay attention, to not be on my phone, to not be distracted, but to pay attention and focus and be alert so that there are no accidents, so that I can avoid any issues that are on the road as best as possible. But of course, He surrounds us with a hedge. I have to give Him all the credit. I can't take any of the credit. Thy flaunting poppies of self-conceit will be pulled up by the roots. Thy mushroom graces will wither in the burning heat, and thy self-sufficiency shall become as straw for the dunghill. If we forget to live at the foot of the cross in deepest lowliness of spirit, God will not forget to make us smart under His rod. A destruction will come to thee, O unduly exalted believer, the destruction of thy joys and thy comforts, though there can be no destruction of thy soul. You're not going to lose your salvation. But like in the movie Aladdin, where that parrot or Jafar told them, I don't have to kill you, but you'll be surprised what you can live through. What kind of sufferings do we bring upon our own life? What kind of destructions do we bring on our own life by our own pride, by our own willingness to tout ourselves instead of touting the Lord? What I'm doing here on this channel, I had no idea what I was doing. I all but shut my YouTube channel down. I deleted all the videos. I was a vlogger. I talked about all kinds of stuff. I deleted all of it, and I did all but shut it down. I deleted all my social media. I'm finished. I used to write for Rally Point. I shut it all down. I'm done with it. I didn't know what the Bible said. I had no skill in any of this stuff. I haven't been in any training or any seminary or anything. I can't take any credit for anything that happens here on this channel or that has happened over the last 5 years. It is all the Lord. It is only Him that gives me the understanding, that reveals these things in this Word, that gives me the ability to speak it and articulate it in any form of clear fashion for people to understand. It's all Him. It all has to be Him all the time. I can take no credit. So we cannot lose our salvation, but what can we lose? And it can be a rough life if we're willing to put ourselves first instead of putting the Lord first. Wherefore he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord. Let us give God the credit. Let us rejoice in the Lord that the Lord saw fit to grant us these wonderful gifts. I do the things that I do every day because the Lord grants it. I exist in a state where I can help others because the Lord grants it. I'm able to do any of the things that I need to do on a daily basis because the Lord grants it. And that runs the gambit of everything. Because the Lord grants it to be so. Because the Lord taught my hands to do those things. Because the Lord gives me the words, gives me the ability, gives me the prayer, gives me the inspiration, the wherewithal, the desire, and He gives me the abilities to do all those things. I have to give Him the credit. I cannot take any credit. At the very least, that's what He's due. The credit for all this. And so concerning this channel, I take no credit in anything that I do. I appreciate y'all, your accolades, and I appreciate your thanks and your stuff like that. Saying thank you for it and your blessings. I appreciate the encouragement. But no credit comes to me. It all goes to the Lord. Give God the glory, because if it wasn't for Him, I wouldn't be doing this. I kid you not, I would not be doing this. I'd given up. I was done. And the Lord brought me back and had me start doing this. And it is only because of him that I've been able to go this long. If it wasn't for him, I would not still be doing this. I could not have gone this long. After some of the, if you'd have seen some of the stuff, there's a lot of stuff I didn't show people. Emails and stuff that I got, comments that I deleted because they were so disgusting. There's a lot of stuff you guys didn't see. Some of the stuff people said to me. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to keep going. You go back in the Bible and look in the Bible. What does it talk about Isaiah? Isaiah was like, we're people of unclean lips. I can't do this. Lord, pick another. Jeremiah. Lord, I'm not worthy of this. You need to find somebody else who can actually do this. I can't do this. Jonah ran away and jumped on a ship and took off. Go and look at all the different people in the Bible where they actually tried to get away from the Lord and not do it. Moses even tried to. I mean, all of them at one point. Well, almost all of them at one point. Like, I'm not worthy of this. Why me? You definitely need to pick somebody else. They gave all the credit to the Lord because he is worthy. And I tell you guys this, he is worthy of all glory. He is worthy of all praise because of him, we are who we are today. Because of him, we're here right now listening to this stuff and reading this stuff. Because of him, we have this Bible. You know, he didn't have to provide this. He could have just let us figure it out the hard way. Because of him, we have these graces. We have this mercy. We have this free gift of salvation. I can make no claim on any of this stuff. It is all because of him. And so pride has to be thrown out the window. And I'm not talking about just open the window and toss it. I'm talking about pulling back as far as you can with your arm and huffing it out that window. You sling it as hard as you can to get it as far as you can away from you. That pride has to be gone. That arrogance must be taken care of. Because how dare any of us think we're something we're not? Like, look at the people today, they call themselves apostles. They're not apostles. They're not apostles. The only people today that would qualify as a lowercase a apostle, not the big one, because nobody did in this generation seen Jesus. That's the first qualification you have to be an apostle. The lowercase apostle, which would be somebody who would go and start churches and stuff like that. The only people that fall into that category are not the ones we see, are the ones that put that in their title. It's the missionaries, because they're out there starting churches in other countries. They're the ones that fall into that qualification, and they don't even call themselves that. What about modern day prophets? People think, oh, you're a cessationist. You don't believe in the gifts. Oh, no, I know that the gifts are here. I just don't think there's a purpose for them. I know that all these things are still active. I just think we misuse them, and we use them to self-elevate. Anybody today who calls himself a prophet, of all that I've seen, none of them are. None of them. They're all liars. And they all use it to self-promote. They all use it for their gaudy self-elevation. And there's a destruction coming for them. And it's unfortunate because it doesn't have to be that way. And so for us, guys, you and me, we know the truth. We know what the Bible says. Apply that to myself. Apply that to yourself. Lord, wherever I have pride, remove it. Don't tear it out. Tearing it out leaves a jagged edge. That means pieces can still stay behind. That means it'll coagulate and it'll close up. Cut it out with a surgical scalpel. It's clean cut. Heals better. You get all of it out at the same time. You know, if you're ever a bow hunter and you understand how bow hunting works. There was a big run there for a bunch of years where people were using serrated broadheads. And guys were like, you know, I shot this deer with this serrated broadhead. It passed straight through and the deer run off. Never found it. And there were people that were reporting that they were hunting, you know, the next season, got a deer that it looked like it had an arrow that passed through it because they had this weird looking three-prong mark on its side where an arrow had passed through it and it healed. You know, that jagged edge, the blood will coagulate that up real quick. But if you get a clean, smooth edge, it won't. It'll bleed freely and the animal will bleed out and then you harvest your animal. And so everybody started switching to straight edge broadheads. And then the technology got even better for those straight ones to make even cleaner cuts. And they're super sharp because they realized that it needs to be a clean edge. That's why I say that. Lord, cut that out. Cut that out. Nice, clean cut. So that whenever we stitch it back up or put something in its place, it heals up better. It makes less of a scar. So place is busy today. So we don't want those things in our lives. We don't want that stuff in our area, especially our area of faith. We don't want that kind of stuff to get in between us and the Lord, because if we can put ourselves in a position higher than Him, we've made a huge mistake. If we can claim something that isn't from us but is from Him, but we use it to self-promote and receive the accolades and the payments and the funds and all that stuff, and we made a mistake. It's not about us. It's all about Him, and always has been and always will be. I think that's a big difference between true born-again believers and false professors, is false professors elevate themselves. True born-again believers put it all to the Lord, because we know that it's all Him. Always has been Him. That's exactly the way it should be. Examine yourselves. Go into the scriptures and test for yourself and see if what I'm telling you is true. And then look and examine yourself and see, am I in a problem here? Do I have an issue? Do I need to deal something to deal with? And take it to the Lord and deal with it. You'll be glad you did, because there's nothing but advantage to doing that. There's nothing but blessing to doing that. You can't lose by applying the word to your own life and your own Christian walk. I love you all very much. I bless you all in Jesus' name, and I'll see you in the next video.